Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Mark, the 5th chapter. And they came over onto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs. So that's where he would usually stay. And no man could bind him, no, not with chains. So they couldn't restrain him even with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters, which are shackles, and chains. And the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him. And always night and day he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Yahushua afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice, and said, What have I to do with thee, Yahushua, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God, that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. Because it is more uncomfortable for them to be out, without a host than to be in a body, right? And basically doing what they do as demons, either making a person sick or, mentally affecting them, or whatever different office they take in the minds of the people or in their bodies. So that demon didn't want to come out of the body and be unclothed, so to speak. So when the Lord told him that, that's why he said this response. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. So it wasn't just one demon, it was a legion of demons. And he besought him much that he would send them away out of the country. Now there were nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. And all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. So they were like, Please, if you're gonna take us out of this host, at least exercise us and allow us to go into the pigs. And forthwith Yahushua gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000, and were choked in the sea. So the second the demons jumped onto the pigs, they said, Hell no, and they jumped up into that water. And they that fed the swine fled, and told it in the city. Because imagine, you're feeding the pigs, right? And all of a sudden, right, not too far from you, you got somebody having a demon a legion of demons being exercised off of him. Then all of a sudden, your pigs just start tweaking out of nowhere. They probably start doing a little squeal, running around, and then boom, all of them just run up into the water. No wonder they fled. And they went out to see. So they went and they told the people in the city, and they went out to see what it was that was done. And they came to Yahushua and see him that was possessed with the devil, and had the legion sitting and clothed and in his right mind. And they were afraid, because they were like, Wait, isn't this the such and such? How? And they that saw it, because they saw that exorcism, told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. He said that the demons came out of him and ran up into the pigs, and they ran up into the water. And they began to pray him to depart out of their coast. They said, Look, please, we don't want any trouble. We don't want to, no. We don't bring that over here. No, you got to go. You got to go. And when he was come into the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit Yahushua suffered him not, but saith unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. So, see, when you have people that are like, bugging out, right, and acting out all crazy, majority of the time is not necessarily them, right? It's a spirit. It's spirits that are on them. But once those demons are off them, they go back to being regular. And he departed. I'm not talking about people that they themselves are just demons. I'm talking about people that are like mentally plagued. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Yahushua had done for him, and all men did marvel. And when Yahushua was passed over again by ship onto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and when he saw him, he fell down, or he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Yahushua went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him. And I'm just going to that word throng right there. But it was like when you're in a train, a packed train, and everybody just like pushed up on each other. That's an example of a thronging, to press together, right? To press on all sides. And a certain woman, which had an issue of blood 12 years. So she had this continual discharge of blood that no matter what she did, it wouldn't stop. Had suffered many things of many physicians. She tried different remedies, this, to do that, and that, and nothing worked. And had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. So she tried everything. She spent all her money, and it was still just getting worse. And when she heard of Yahushua, came in the press behind in the crowd, and touched his garment. For she said, If I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. So she no more bleeding, it all stopped. And Yahushua immediately, knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the crowd, and said, Who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, Thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me? You're literally in the midst of a crowd that are pressed up upon you, and you're asking, Who touched you? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him, and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace, and be whole of thy plague. While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, Thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? So at this, she's already dead. Leave him. It's too late now. As soon as Yahushua heard the word that was spoken, he saith unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, only believe. And he suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. Right? So there was a whole lot of people there crying, mourning, weeping like a funeral. And when he was come in, he saith unto them, Why make ye this ado, and weep? So what's all this commotion and all this crying? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. So they just, Jake, what? He just said she's what now? She's sleeping? But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were with him, and he entereth in where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto her, Talitha cumi, which is being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with a great astonishment, because they saw she was dead, and she just came back to life. And they're just looking at this point like, yo, mind blown, jaws dropped, just wondering, like, is this real? And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded that something should be given her to eat. And that brings us to the end of the book of Mark, the 5th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.